Hello again, and welcome back. I am so happy we can share another quiet moment together. Tonight, we return to that gentle, peaceful place, tucked away from the noise of the world, a place of kind, round trolls, and their peculiar, wonderful friends. But since we last visited, the valley has changed. The late summer sun has softened, and the air has grown crisp with the coming cold. Our story tonight is not one of green grass and warm pebbles, but of crackling fires, thick woolen blankets, and the deep, calming quiet of the very first snow. It is a story about the beauty of change, the comfort of home, and the quiet magic that happens when the world decides to rest under a soft, white blanket. There is no need to do anything now, but listen. Allow your body to grow heavy, your breathing to slow down, and your mind to quiet as we journey back to the little blue house and prepare for winter in the valley. Before we open the door to that cozy blue house, let's prepare our own space for deep rest. Take a moment now to find your most comfortable position, sinking down into your mattress, feeling its complete support. Pull your covers up high, perhaps imagining it's a thick, soft quilt, a barrier against a gentle winter's chill. Feel the comforting weight, the warmth seeping into your muscles. Let go of the day. Take a slow, deep breath in, filling your lungs with calm. And as you exhale, release a long, soft sigh, letting any lingering tension dissolve away with it. Relax the muscles in your shoulders. Let them drop away from your ears. Soften your jaw and the tiny muscles around your eyes. Allow a feeling of gentle, warm heaviness to spread through your entire body, from the top of your head down to the tips of your toes. You are safe, you are warm, and you are ready for our story to begin. It was late autumn in the valley. The vibrant greens of summer had deepened into a beautiful fading wash of gold, amber, and deep rusty red. The air no longer hummed with the busy sound of bees, but carried a new kind of silence, a cool, crisp, waiting kind of silence. On the porch of the tall blue house, the little troll sat on the top step, wrapped in a small knitted shawl. He watched a single, perfect crimson leaf let go of its branch and spiral slowly, gracefully, down to rest on the path. Summer was a lovely, fading memory. Inside, the house felt different too. It was cozier, more inward-looking. The mother troll was busy in the kitchen, not with light salads and berry juices, but with jars and pots. She was making her famous lingonberry jam, the deep, sweet, bubbling scent filling every corner of the house. It was the smell of preparing, of storing up warmth and sweetness for the long, dark months ahead. The father troll was no longer napping in his hammock. Instead, he was being very practical. He moved with a slow, purposeful pace around the outside of the house, checking that each window sill was snug, and making a neat, tall stack of firewood by the porch, a sturdy fortress of warmth. The wanderer was there too, but he seemed quieter than usual. He sat near the river, on his favorite smooth gray stone, his old green coat pulled tight around him, He wasn't playing his harmonica, he was just watching the water, which seemed to run slower now and colder. The little troll padded softly over to him. "Hello," he said, his own breath making a tiny white cloud in the cool air. The wanderer looked up, his smile kind but a little sad. "Hello, little friend," he said. "The world is getting ready to sleep, and so must I." The little troll's heart felt a small pang. "You're leaving?" "Just for the winter," the wanderer said gently. "Some of us must follow the sun. It's the way of things. I'll see the mountains turn brown and find a warm, sandy place to play my harmonica. And I'll think of you all, here in your cozy, snowy valley." He reached into his pocket. "But before I go," he said, "I have something for you." He placed a small, smooth, dark stone in the little troll's paw. It looked like an ordinary stone, but when the little troll turned it over, he saw a perfect, fossilized fern frond pressed into its surface, a memory of an ancient summer held in stone. "To remind you," the wanderer said softly, "that spring always, always comes back." They sat together in a comfortable quiet for a long time, watching the river flow, listening to the rustle of the last dry leaves. Over the next few days, the preparations continued. It was a slow, rhythmic, comforting kind of work. The little troll helped his mother line the pantry shelves with the jewel-colored jars of jam. Red lingonberry, golden cloudberry, deep purple blueberry. Each one was a little pot of captured sunshine. He helped his father gather pine cones for the fireplace. They smelled sharp and woody and wonderful. He liked the solid, satisfying feeling of stacking them in a big wicker basket. Every evening, the family would gather around the great ceramic stove in the living room. It was now the true heart of the house. The father troll would read aloud from his big books of adventures, his voice a low, soothing rumble. The mother troll would be knitting, the soft click-clack of her needles a steady, hypnotic rhythm, creating long, colorful scarves and warm, woolen socks. The little troll would sit on the rug, feeling the warmth from the fire on his face, clutching the fern fossil stone from the wanderer, who had departed a few days earlier with a quiet wave and a promise of return. He felt a deep sense of peace. The world outside was growing colder, but inside this house, inside this family, there was so much warmth, so much love. Then, one afternoon, a new kind of quiet began to fall. It was different from the silence of autumn. The wind stopped blowing. The last few leaves on the trees hung perfectly still. The river seemed to flow without a sound. The air itself felt thick and heavy. A hush so deep, it felt like the world was holding its breath. The sky, which had been a clear, pale blue, slowly turned a uniform, soft, pearly gray. It was a sky without shadows, without a sun, like a great, smooth canvas stretched over the valley. The father troll came inside, stamping his boots gently on the mat. "It's coming," he said quietly, a twinkle in his eye. He closed the heavy wooden door, and the click of the latch sounded loud in the stillness. The little troll went to the big window in the living room, the one that looked out over the whole valley. He pressed his nose against the cool glass and waited. He didn't know how long he stood there, mesmerized by the strange, still quiet that had fallen over the world. And then he saw it, a single white speck, floating slowly, lazily, down from the pearly gray sky. It wasn't like rain. Rain hurried. This was a dance. It spiraled and drifted on an invisible current. He watched it, holding his breath, until it landed softly on a dark pine branch and disappeared. Then another appeared, and another, then 10, then 20, then 100, a gentle, silent, impossible flurry of the softest, whitest specks began to fill the air. Winter had arrived, not with a roar, but with a hush. Slowly, so slowly, the world began to change. The sharp, dark edges of the land began to soften. A thin, delicate dusting of white appeared on his father's stack of firewood. The pointed red roof of their house received a soft, white cap. The path to the river, the garden fence, the empty branches of the birch trees, everything was being gently, lovingly covered. The little troll felt a sense of awe. The world was being erased and redrawn in soft, gentle white. He stayed at the window until the light began to fade, and the falling snow began to glow with a faint, blue, otherworldly light. His mother came and placed a warm mug of cocoa in his paws. He sipped it, not taking his eyes from the magical, silent transformation happening outside. That night, tucked in his bed in his attic room, the world was completely different. The silence was the deepest he had ever known, a heavy, peaceful, sound-absorbing quiet. It felt as though he were inside a snow globe, safe and cozy, and at the very center of a quiet miracle. He could hear nothing but the soft, rhythmic breathing of the house itself. Through his round window, he couldn't see the moon or the stars, just the gentle, endless, silent falling of snow, illuminated by the warm light spilling from his own window. He clutched the fossil stone, the promise of summer, but he wasn't sad. He felt a deep and quiet contentment. He drifted off to sleep, rocked by the stillness of the valley and the gentle, endless dance of the snowflakes outside his window. When he woke, the world was dazzling. The snow had stopped falling. Sunlight, a brilliant, wintry sunlight, was streaming through his window, reflecting off the fresh snow and filling his room with a pure, bright light. He scrambled out of bed and ran to the window. The valley was gone. In its place was a new world, a world of smooth, sculpted marshmallow softness. Not a single footprint marred the perfect, glistening blanket that covered everything. The river was a dark, winding ribbon in a sea of white. The pine trees were heavy laden, their branches drooping gracefully under the weight of their new, beautiful burden. The quiet was still there, but it was a bright, clean, cheerful quiet now. He hurried downstairs, his paws patting softly on the wooden steps. The smell of pancakes and hot coffee filled the air. The fire in the great stove was crackling merrily, and his father was sitting at the table, his top hat on, reading the morning paper. His mother was at the stove, her striped apron on, flipping a perfect golden brown pancake. It was so warm, so cozy, so safe. "Good morning, my dear," his mother said with a smile. The world has had a good long sleep, hasn't it? After a warm, wonderful breakfast, the father troll looked at the little troll. "Well," he said, "shall we be the first?" He bundled the little troll into his warmest coat and scarf, and they opened the front door. The air that greeted them was so cold and clean, it felt like taking a drink of ice water. And before them lay the perfect, untouched snow. Father Troll, with his big, important boots, took the first step. Crunch! The sound was wonderful, so loud in the still morning. Then the little troll took a step. Crunch! They walked a little way, just to the bridge and back, creating the very first path in the new white world. They looked back and admired their wobbly line of footprints. The first story written on winter's blank page. The little troll looked around at the sparkling, silent, sleeping valley, at the cozy blue house with smoke curling from its chimney, and he felt a deep happiness in his small troll heart. Winter was not something to be feared. It was just another kind of magic, another reason to be grateful for a warm home and a loving family. And now, you too can feel that deep, cozy peace. Imagine yourself tucked away in that warm, safe house, while the world outside is quiet and still and resting under a soft blanket of white. There is nothing to do, nowhere to be, just the gentle crackle of the fire, the warmth of your blankets, and the slow, steady rhythm of your own breathing, drifting now, floating on a current of deep, quiet contentment, down, 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 into a restorative and wonderful sleep. Rest now. Just rest. Thank you again for visiting the valley with me. I hope this winter's tale has filled you with warmth and guided you towards peace. The world of the little trolls will always be here for you whenever you need a safe harbor to rest your mind. If you enjoyed your story, I would be so grateful if you would subscribe and join our little community of dreamers. But for now, the story is over, and it is time for deep, deep sleep. May your night be peaceful, may your rest be complete, and may all your dreams be sweet. Sleep well,